Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tommy Robinson came from the streets. It's like, don't mess with him. And he's super smart.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid. So, like, he's an intimidating character.
Yeah. I mean, the very first question I asked him is, are you racist? That's a strange question to ask someone.
That's for sure.
And I sort of knew he wasn't, but I wanted to hear him say it.
Yeah.
And I got to know him a little bit. And so when that was at Sun News Network, when Rebel News started.
He's not racist like your typical, intelligent working class guy is, which means he'll be friends with.
Tommy Robinson's legal team has issued a crucial warning ahead of his upcoming appeal, which is rapidly casting a dark shadow over the British justice system. This warning goes beyond Robinson's personal case, raising alarming questions about how the legal system might be manipulated for political gain. With the appeal scheduled for this Friday, his team has disclosed troubling new developments that hint at far deeper issues than just the legal proceedings themselves. Perhaps the most concerning revelation is the argument that Robinson should have been kept in solitary confinement for an extended period, despite the fact that his offense was civil, not criminal. This request underscores how the government may be using excessive legal measures to suppress political opposition. Robinson's legal representatives argue that the actions taken against him aren't simply about punishing an individual for a violation of the law, but about sending a broader message to anyone who dares to challenge the political establishment. They contend that his treatment is politically motivated and designed to silence those who speak out against the government's agenda. What makes this situation even more troubling is that, had Robinson been treated as a criminal, he would likely have been released months ago under current legal guidelines. However, by pursuing his case through civil channels, the government has been able to keep him in prison far longer and under far more severe conditions. This manipulation of the legal process raises serious concerns not only about Robinson's treatment, but about how far authorities will go to silence dissenting voices. Robinson's case has evolved into more than just an individual fight for justice. It has become a pivotal test of whether the British legal system can uphold the values of fairness, justice, and equal treatment for all. His legal team emphasizes that the implications of this case reach far beyond Robinson's personal fate. The pressing question now is whether the legal system will remain impartial or whether it will continue to be used as a tool to suppress those who challenge the political status quo. With mounting evidence of systemic manipulation, Robinson's upcoming appeal will serve as a critical moment in determining not only his future, but also the broader conversation about individual rights and the limits of government power in a democratic society. As Tommy Robinson's legal battle unfolds, it becomes increasingly evident that the consequences extend far beyond his individual case. Recent developments have raised serious concerns about the treatment Robinson has endured and, more broadly, about the integrity of the British justice system. The use of solitary confinement and the decision to process his case through the civil route, rather than a criminal one, has sparked intense debate regarding the government's ability to manipulate the legal system for political advantage. Robinson's legal team has consistently argued that the actions taken against him are part of a larger political strategy aimed at silencing dissent and intimidating critics of the establishment. This Friday's appeal hearing marks a crucial juncture, not just for Robinson but for the future of free speech in the UK. The way the government has handled Robinson's case, prolonging his detention and treating him as a civil offender rather than a criminal, has raised alarms about the fairness of the legal process. Critics assert that this approach is not about justice, but about suppressing voices that challenge the political status quo. Denying Robinson the right to fair treatment, they argue, sends a dangerous message about the limits of free expression and how easily individuals can be punished for their beliefs. Robinson's case is not an isolated incident, but part of a growing pattern of political persecution. Many believe that the government is using Robinson as a high-profile example to intimidate others who might challenge the establishment. His legal team warns that the broader implications of his case could set a dangerous precedent, making it easier for authorities to target dissenters in the future. The decision to pursue a civil case rather than a criminal one has allowed the government to avoid the usual legal constraints and oversight. This route has given authorities the ability to keep Robinson in solitary confinement far longer than he would have been if processed as a criminal. This raises serious questions about whether his treatment aligns with the core principles of justice and fairness. Public dissatisfaction with Robinson's treatment has brought attention to a larger issue: the state of political freedom in the UK. For many, the problem isn't just the way Robinson is being treated, but the broader implications for anyone who speaks out against the government. Robinson's harsh treatment for expressing his views signals a troubling trend toward authoritarianism, where freedom of speech is increasingly under threat. As the appeal hearing nears, all eyes are on the UK justice system. Will the courts uphold the principles of fairness, or will they continue to be manipulated to serve political agendas? The outcome of Robinson's case could have far-reaching consequences, not only for him, but also for the future of free expression in the UK. His legal team stresses that this case is about more than one man's struggle for justice. It's about protecting democracy and individual rights. The pressure on the courts to deliver a fair ruling has never been more intense. As Tommy Robinson's legal case progresses, the growing concerns surrounding free speech in the UK have become impossible to ignore. His struggle is not just an individual's fight for justice, but a reflection of broader questions about political freedom and how dissenting voices are treated by the authorities. The way Robinson has been handled, particularly his extended solitary confinement and the decision to pursue his case through a civil rather than criminal route, has sparked intense debate about the fairness of the UK's legal system and its vulnerability to political manipulation. For many, Robinson's case symbolizes a more concerning trend, where the government is using the legal system as a tool to suppress those who challenge the established political order. By keeping Robinson in prison under harsh conditions, critics argue that the authorities are making an example of him, sending a chilling message to anyone else who might speak out or hold opposing views. This situation raises serious fears about the future of free speech in the UK, with many worrying that the outcome of Robinson's case could set a dangerous precedent for how political dissidents are treated. Robinson's legal team strongly maintains that the charges against him are politically motivated. They believe that using a civil case to extend his imprisonment, bypassing the normal legal checks and balances of a criminal trial, is a deliberate attempt to deny him the justice he deserves. His extended solitary confinement, despite being classified as a Category D prisoner, emphasizes the extent to which the authorities are willing to go to suppress voices they consider problematic. This approach has raised questions about the transparency and accountability of the UK's justice system, with critics accusing the government of undermining fairness to stifle dissent. The implications of Robinson's case are far-reaching, not just for him, but for the entire political landscape in the UK. As his appeal approaches, all eyes are on how the justice system will respond to allegations of political interference. Will the courts uphold fairness, or will the government's influence determine the outcome? The growing unrest surrounding Robinson's case has sparked protests, widespread public outcry, and intense media scrutiny over how the UK treats those who challenge its political establishment. This is no longer just a legal battle. It is a struggle for the soul of democracy in the UK. As the appeal hearing draws closer, the future of free speech and the protection of individual rights are at stake. The outcome of this case could have profound consequences for the UK's democracy, making it a moment of critical importance for the future of the nation's legal and political integrity. With so much on the line, the public and legal observers alike await the court's decision, which could set the course for how political dissent is handled in the years to come. The ongoing controversy surrounding Tommy Robinson's legal battle has raised significant concerns about the fairness of the UK justice system, political manipulation, and the treatment of dissenters. As his appeal hearing nears, it has become clear that this case transcends the individual struggle of Robinson, touching upon broader issues concerning the relationship between the state, its institutions, and those who challenge its authority. Robinson's legal team argues that his detention and treatment are part of a broader political strategy aimed at silencing opposition voices. Critics claim that by keeping him in solitary confinement and utilizing a civil case to extend his imprisonment, the government is purposefully stifling political dissent, undermining fundamental principles of justice. The fact that Robinson's treatment involves severe measures, despite not being convicted of a criminal offense, raises troubling questions about the lengths to which the government is willing to go to suppress criticism. His continued isolation, even though he is classified as a Category D prisoner, suggests that political motivations rather than security concerns are driving the authorities' actions. This has sparked heated debate about the state's role in curbing free speech, with many supporters of Robinson arguing that his case represents a direct attack on the right to voice unpopular opinions. The handling of Robinson's case, especially the decision to keep him incarcerated under harsh conditions, has sparked widespread concern about the state's expanding power to control and silence individuals who oppose its policies. Human rights advocates have raised alarms about the use of solitary confinement, labeling it a form of psychological torture designed to break the spirits of those who challenge the political status quo. This raises serious ethical questions about how the state uses its power to punish those it deems undesirable. As Robinson's legal battle continues, the implications for the future of free speech in the UK are growing more significant. The public outcry over Robinson's treatment has sparked a broader discussion about the erosion of individual rights and the limits of government power. The case has drawn attention to the growing dissatisfaction with how the UK justice system appears to be used to settle political scores rather than providing impartial justice. For many, Robinson's plight has become a symbol of the growing authoritarianism and political repression in the UK, turning his legal struggle into a rallying point for those who feel the government is undermining basic freedoms. With the appeal hearing approaching, the stakes are higher than ever, not just for Robinson, but for the future of political freedom and justice in the UK. His case has already become a defining moment in the ongoing battle for free speech, and its outcome will likely set a crucial precedent for how the authorities treat dissenting voices in the years ahead. The result of this case will have profound implications for the protection of individual rights and the role of the state in safeguarding free expression. The ongoing legal case surrounding Tommy Robinson is more than a dispute over individual rights. It reflects broader concerns about the state's growing ability to suppress dissent and manipulate the legal system for political purposes. Robinson's case has exposed how the justice system can be weaponized to silence those who challenge the political status quo. Known for his outspoken views and criticisms of policies and societal issues, Robinson has faced extreme measures, including extended solitary confinement and being processed as a civil prisoner, which raises serious questions about the expansion of government power over individual freedoms. Robinson's legal team has consistently argued that his case is not about the legality of his actions, but rather about sending a clear message to others who may be tempted to criticize the government or its policies. His treatment, they suggest, is being used as a deterrent, a warning to those considering speaking out against the establishment. What makes Robinson's case especially concerning is that he was initially detained for a civil offense rather than a criminal conviction, which has led many to question the fairness and transparency of the entire legal process. The government's decision to use civil proceedings instead of criminal charges to keep him imprisoned has allowed authorities to bypass standard legal procedures and deny him the rights typically afforded to criminal defendants. This manipulation has created an imbalance, turning Robinson's case from a legal issue into what feels more like a political vendetta. Public outrage has grown as more people recognize that Robinson's case is symptomatic of a broader erosion of civil liberties in the UK. Human rights advocates have warned that using solitary confinement as a tool to punish political dissidents sets a dangerous precedent. Not only does it harm Robinson, but it sends a message that dissent will be crushed through any means necessary, including manipulating the justice system. The situation has sparked a larger debate about the role of the state in regulating free speech. Many argue that the government's actions in Robinson's case represent an abuse of power, especially considering the UK's historical commitment to democracy, transparency, and freedom of expression. If Robinson's case is allowed to stand, it could pave the way for future attempts to silence political figures or activists simply for voicing their opposition to the government. As this case continues, the larger question remains whether the UK will uphold its democratic values or allow political power to further manipulate the justice system. The outcome of this case extends far beyond Robinson and could have lasting implications for how the UK treats dissenters in the years to come. The controversy surrounding Tommy Robinson's case goes far beyond his personal legal struggles, revealing troubling implications for the future of free speech in the UK. The government's use of legal mechanisms to suppress those who challenge the political status quo has sparked an intense debate over the balance between national security concerns and individual freedoms. Critics argue that Robinson's extended detention under the pretext of civil offences is part of a broader pattern of political manipulation. Unlike criminal defendants, Robinson's case was processed through civil channels, allowing authorities to bypass the typical legal safeguards that would normally apply in criminal proceedings. This deviation from the standard justice system raises significant concerns about the fairness and impartiality of the legal process, as well as whether the justice system is being used as a weapon to quash dissent. The opacity surrounding his treatment has only fueled public concerns, with many fearing that the UK's historical commitment to upholding justice and free expression is gradually eroding. The government's actions have led to widespread calls for a comprehensive investigation into their role in Robinson's case. This controversy has evolved into more than just a legal dispute. It has become a critical test of the country's commitment to civil rights and the preservation of democracy. With protests and debates escalating, Robinson's case has turned into a flashpoint for those concerned about the future of political dissent in the UK. As the legal proceedings continue, the broader question is whether the UK will continue to defend the right to free speech, even when it involves challenging the government's authority. Alternatively, there is growing concern that Robinson's case could set a dangerous precedent for the future, where legal processes are weaponized to silence political critics. The outcome of his upcoming appeal will have profound implications, not only for Robinson but also for the state of political freedoms and the protection of civil liberties in the UK for years to come. The case has illuminated the potential dangers of overreach, making it a defining moment in the ongoing struggle for freedom of expression. See you soon.